It was one of those quiet, deceptively peaceful Saturday afternoons in our little cul-de-sac. The birds were chirping, sunlight danced through the branches, and the whole neighborhood seemed to be drifting in a lazy summer haze. My 7-year-old daughter, Emily, was at home nursing a mild summer cold. I'd only stepped out for a quick grocery run, 20 minutes, tops. When I left, she was curled up on the couch, wrapped in her favorite pink blanket, cartoons playing softly in the background. We'd gone over the rules more times than I could count. Never open the door if I'm not home. No strangers. No neighbors. Wait until I'm back. Emily did exactly that. She told me later that it started with a few light knocks, then louder ones, and then the pounding, hard, aggressive thuds that shook the frame of the front door. She peeked through the peephole, her little stomach twisting when she saw who it was, Linda Cartwright. Linda, the self-appointed queen of our block and the president of the HOA. Everyone in the neighborhood called her Karen when she wasn't around, and honestly, she wore the nickname like a badge of honor. She spent her days policing the neighborhood, scolding teens on skateboards, reporting anyone who left their trash bins out too long, inspecting lawns as though she ran a military camp. And her favorite targets, me and Emily. Emily followed the rules. She stayed silent. She hid, small and frightened, hoping the woman would just leave. But Linda didn't leave. She cycled around the side of the house, found the sliding back door, unlocked, and let herself in. That's when Emily screamed. I wasn't there to hear it. When I came home, bags of groceries in hand, I walked straight into chaos. Emily was in the kitchen, face streaked with tears, breath sharp and ragged. I froze in the doorway, dropped the bags. Eggs splattered. Apples rolled across the tile. And then I was there, holding her, whispering that she was safe, that I was here. That's when I saw it. A bright red handprint across her cheek. For a moment, the world tilted. My pulse roared in my ears, cold fury washing over me. I crouched, steadying my voice even though my gut already knew the answer. Emily, who did this? Through hiccup sobs, she said, Miss Linda. She came inside. She said I was rude for not opening the door, and then she slapped me. Everything inside me snapped. I wasn't thinking. My body just moved, driven by a fury so sharp it felt electric. I stormed across the street toward Linda's perfect little house, the one with the tacky seasonal wreath and those perfectly matching flower pots. I didn't knock. I slammed my foot into the door hard enough to rattle the frame. Open up, Linda. My voice ripped through the quiet street. Curtains twitched. Neighbors peeked out their windows. I didn't care. The only thing that mattered was the sting still burning on my daughter's cheek. The door swung open, and there she was, beige sweater set, hair yanked into that painfully tight bun, and that fake, practiced smile plastered across her face. Well, that was rude, she said, folding her arms as if she hadn't just crossed every boundary imaginable. Is this about your daughter? I saw red. What the hell were you thinking? My voice trembled, sharp with rage. You hit a child. You broke into my home. She scoffed, like I was the unreasonable one. She disrespected me. I rang the bell 3 times, and she ignored me. That's how kids grow up entitled. You people don't raise them right. You people. I stepped closer, my fists tight enough to dig crescents into my palms. She's 7, I said, my voice dangerously low. 7 years old. And you hate her because she didn't drop everything to feed your ego. Her chin tilted defiantly. She needed discipline, she said flatly. I handled it. That was it. My fist connected with her jaw in a sharp, clean crack that echoed across her porch. She stumbled back, slammed against the doorframe, clutching her face with a screech. You hit me, she shrieked. You barbarian. I'm calling the police. Go ahead, I said, my voice cold and steady. I already did. You're going to jail for breaking into my home and laying hands on my daughter. She tried to push herself upright, but her legs shook beneath her. I leaned in, made sure she saw the fire in my eyes. If you ever come near my family again, I said, my voice like stone, you won't just need a jaw surgeon, you'll need a body cast. And then I walked away. My hands still trembled, but not from rage anymore, from pure adrenaline. My chest heaved, But inside, there was only a calm clarity. For the first time, someone had finally stood up to her. Back inside, Emily looked up at me, eyes wide and searching. I knelt beside Emily, brushing her damp hair away from her tear-streaked cheeks. "She'll never hurt you again," I whispered softly, my voice steady despite the storm raging inside me. Minutes later, the quiet hum of the neighborhood was shattered by the sharp wail of sirens. 2 patrol cars rolled down the street, lights flashing like lightning in the summer dusk. As the sirens faded, neighbors began spilling out of their homes, some clutching phones, recording every moment. Everyone knew something serious had just gone down. I stood tall on my porch, steady and unflinching. Inside, Emily was safe with Mrs. Parker, our sweet, elderly neighbor who had rushed over the second she heard the commotion. Across the street, Linda was sprawled on her manicured lawn, clutching her jaw like a broken doll, her composure cracked wide open. One of the officers, a broad-shouldered man in his 40s with tired but kind eyes, approached me first. "Are you the one who called?" "Yes," I said firmly, my voice calm but edged with steel. "She broke into my home and hit my daughter." Before he could respond, a shrill, grating voice sliced through the air. "Officer, arrest him. He attacked me without provocation. I was just knocking, and he punched me in the face." Another officer rushed to steady her as she hobbled dramatically toward the curb, still clutching her cheek like she was rehearsing for a bad soap opera. She launched into an overblown monologue about assault, neighborhood respect, and the collapse of decency. If Emily's face hadn't still carried the red imprint of Linda's hand, I might have laughed at the absurdity. I turned back to the first officer. "Come inside," I said. "You need to see this." Inside, I queued up the footage from the security cameras. Every moment was there, Linda creeping around the house, sliding open the back door, storming into my kitchen, yelling at my little girl, and then, the slap. Crystal clear. Emily's scream rang out through the audio, sharp enough to make my chest ache all over again. The officer didn't say a word. His jaw tightened as he watched, eyes darkening. After a moment, he turned to his partner and muttered, "Yeah, that's more than enough." We stepped back outside just in time to hear Linda screeching. "You can't be serious. You taking his word over mine? He's violent. He hit me." The officer's tone went flat, hard as concrete. "We've reviewed the security footage. You unlawfully entered his home and assaulted his minor child. You're under arrest for trespassing and assaulting a minor." For once, Linda was stunned into silence. Her jaw actually dropped this time. "You're arresting me?" "Yes, the officer replied, voice clipped. "Stand up, please." The gathered crowd murmured, a few people even clapping under their breath. Linda's gaze darted from face to face, the very neighbor she'd bullied for years, but found no sympathy there. If anything, there was a glimmer of quiet satisfaction in their eyes. "This neighborhood is going to hell," she screamed as the officers read her rights and led her to the squad car. But no one stepped forward. No one defended her. The door slammed, the flashing lights faded, and just like that, the self-crowned queen of the cul-de-sac was gone. For the first time, standing there in my yard, I felt the shift, a collective exhale from the entire block. Relief. Inside, Emily sat at the kitchen table, clutching her stuffed bunny with one arm and a juice box in the other. Mrs. Parker gave me a small, kind nod before quietly slipping out, leaving us in the quiet hum of our kitchen. I sat across from my daughter. "You okay, Pumpkin?" I asked gently. Her big eyes lifted to meet mine. Is she coming back?" "No," I said firmly, leaving no room for doubt. "She won't. I promise." She nodded, but I could see it, that flicker of fear lingering behind her eyes. That quiet uncertainty. And that's what broke me. Not the trespassing. Not the slap. But the way, in less than a minute, Linda had made my daughter question whether her home, her safe place, could still protect her. That kind of fear doesn't disappear overnight. It's something I knew I'd spend every single day trying to mend. Later that evening, my phone buzzed. It was Officer Ramirez, the one who had watched the footage. "She's being charged with felony child endangerment, assault, and unlawful entry," he said. "We'll need statements from you and your daughter, But with the footage and her testimony, the case is solid. Relief washed through me as I thanked him and hung up. Not long after, a soft knock came at the door. This time, gentle. It was Bill Thompson, a longtime resident and one of the HOA board members. He shifted awkwardly on the porch, eyes full of something that almost looked like guilt. I just wanted to say I'm sorry, he said. We all let Linda get away with too much for too long. She bullied everyone, and we thought ignoring her was easier. But what she did to your daughter, there's no excuse. I nodded, keeping my voice calm. Thank you, but she's not your problem anymore. He sighed, shaking his head. We're holding an emergency HOA meeting tomorrow. We're voting her out, permanently. It's long overdue. I appreciated his words, but I knew the only apology that mattered was the one I owed Emily, to make sure she never doubted her safety here again. The next morning, I drove her to school myself. As she stepped out of the car, she turned back to me and smiled. Small, fragile, but real. Healing. Because monsters don't always hide under beds. Sometimes they live across the street. But even monsters bleed. And sometimes, finally, they get exactly what they deserve.